Coach, what do you hope to get out of spring ball?
Continue to establish our culture. That we play Navy football. Um, just got 15 days and get to evaluate guys. It's hard the first 2 days, the NCAA mandates that you go in helmets, so
Right.
try to do some things. I mean,
When will you be able to go into pads?
your third practice.
Third
Yeah,
practice?
you can't go into pads until your third practice.
Okay. Do you think you're going to have a physical spring ball? We had talked about
Oh, yeah.
leading up to the bowl game. You hit more, and do you think you can do a little of that in the spring?
Most definitely. I mean, physical practice, spring, trying to look at some different things. The big part is just trying to get a lot of guys evaluated.
Hmm.
And so, we'll have a ton of opportunities to get those guys to play.
We've talked about this before, but during the off season, you see guys that are really good lifting and running and show well, and they're in good shape. But then out here, really is when you figure out who can play football, right?
And we're going to, whatever the rules are, you're allowed to have 3 scrimmages,
Hmm.
8 practices of, you can tackle. But in those practices that you can tackle, it's got to be less, 50%'s got to be less than 11 on 11. So they have
Hmm.
all these rules. So obviously to protect our players and young men, and we're going to definitely do that. But what they allow us to do, we're going to do.
Right.
And so just, we got to see, like you said, who can make plays, who can make a tackle, who can get off a block, who can make a block. And so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Well, speaking of tackling, you have 3 of your 4 linebacker positions where you have to kind of rebuild the depth. You lost starters and backups in some cases, and like you got a guy that's you've moved from defensive end listed as a star. So those linebackers are going to have to show you they can tackle.
Yeah, and we'll have a ton of opportunities. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was encouraged by that. Encouraged to see Zach and Malcolm out here.
Malcolm's winning his sprints. He's running pretty well.
So both of them were out here. So it was good to see, and um, I was encouraged to see, Garrett Lewis has had a great offseason
Hmm.
along with that group. So I was encouraged to see, obviously, Malcolm and Zach back. Garrett had a great offseason. He hasn't been injured. A lot of the young quarterbacks have worked hard too. Jacob Harrison and Dana worked hard. So I've been encouraged by that.
We had talked when we met about the wide receivers depth chart has been depleted too. Lost a lot of good guys. The guys you have at the top, Taylor and Mitchell, they look the part. They're big fellas. But you were talking about you need Malcolm to work on his passing, but to do that he needs receivers. Your thoughts on some of these young receivers?
Well, it's a great opportunity for them. Nobody comes in established. Taylor's the only established guy, Taylor
Hmm.
Jackson. And so other than that, nobody's really played. So opportunity for them to get a lot of reps. And, if they're, I know Coach Yo's talking to them, but for them, what a great opportunity to show what you can do.
Right. What led you to move the one Yaramit's brother to wide receiver? Had he been a tight end in college, high school or something?
Yeah, he was a quarterback.
Oh,
He was a
really? So he's a good athlete.
He's a good athlete. We thought about Terrence Laster that was kind of buried at the outside linebacker position. Moved him in there, wide
And
receiver.
it worked out.
You're kind of a bigger tight end. A bigger wide receiver, kind of like a tight end. And he was phenomenal for us. Besides, Carmona on one side and Cologne, we had a guy like Laster on that side. And so
Mhm.
obviously we run the ball a lot, so we need big wideouts.
Right. All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Well, Coach was telling us that he wants Malcolm to work on his passing. Can
Yes.
you kind of talk about your thoughts and how do you do that?
Well, I mean, it's got to be smart. Obviously, we're trying to make sure his foot is getting better first and foremost.
Right.
But the throwing part is where he needs most work. Obviously, for watch running with the football in his hands, that's something that
You know what he
he
can
does very, very well. And he has a pretty good arm. He throws a decent deep ball. Main thing now is work his mechanics, delivery, and decision making in the passing game. And obviously,
Right.
that's something that when you don't do it much, when you do it, you don't want to turn the football over.
Right.
So we're gonna spend a lot of time on that this spring. When we throw the football, get him in there, working his mechanics, his delivery, and the biggest thing too is his confidence. I think last year when the pick they threw against SMU, after that he wasn't letting that football go. He was pulling it down and running with it, which is not bad, but
Right.
at the
You
same
got to when
time-
it's there, you got to
at the
deliver.
same time, you want to throw the football, So we're gonna spend a lot of time on that this spring, get his confidence up, again, mechanics as well, and go from there.
Is it a lot of it, stepping into the pass, or is it, do you feel like you got to change anything about his motion, or is he? You feel like what he does is okay, but you just got to refine something.
It's probably a little bit with his delivery, but at the same time, he throws a pretty good ball today. He threw the ball very well. He threw the ball very well back in the bowl game prep and all that. So it's just a matter of not trying to do too much with it. Again, just working on a little bit of things on his mechanics, but also just the confidence part is where he needs it. Just turn the football loose, believe in what you see, and let it fly.
What does Zach Abey need to work on this spring? And I know he's going to be somewhat limited because he's coming off shoulder surgery, but what are your goals for Zach Abey?
Well, it's the same exact thing with Zach, just decision making. Again, a lot of our turnovers last year, some big turnovers came in the passing game. Again, a lot of it comes back to me and just coaching those guys and helping them in practice, giving them more looks, putting the defense out there. We do a lot of routes on air, which is good, but at the same time, we want to get a defense out there. So I fought myself for a lot of what Zach did last year for the interceptions because I could have done a better job. But the main thing with him, again, just this spring is what he can do, get him in there when he can throw the football, decision making, it's making better decisions.
When you also talk about Skelly, is that with defense or is that?
The Skelly's with defense.
Right, so you have got that.
Defense out there. We had a 10-minute period today, which was really good for us. I think we need more and more of that. They all got a chance to throw the football around, and again, make good decisions. And that's where you build your confidence at. Mike threw some good balls today. Zach did as well. All of them did some pretty good things today, but at the same time, there were a few turnovers, which is a huge no-no. So we got to limit those turnovers and continue to get better and better.
So obviously, I'm guessing that with Malcolm and Zach both being limited, when you go into live scrimmage situations, you're probably not going to need you put them in there.
No, we're not.
No. So that gives Garrett Lewis and Dalen Morris an opportunity to show they're going to get a lot of reps, right?
Again, I think we know where Garrett's niche is. Again, he can run the option, he can run the offense, but also he throws the ball very, very well. Made some good decisions when he went in last year. So we try to find where he can fit into our offense when it comes to a 1-minute offense, those type of things, and trying to get the ball down the field, throwing it. But also, again, he can run the offense. He makes good decisions. There's a spot for him in the system and in the game when we need him. Dayton just got to learn. He has to grow up a lot.
It's a big spring for him, right?
Needs to be hit. See what he can do.
Right. Jacob Harrison's in the mix too.
Jacob's in there too. Again, this is a really good time for those guys. Again with Malcolm and Zach out, those guys get a lot of reps, a lot of live reps, and again go from there.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Right,
just kind of tell me what you would like to work on this spring. What does Zach Abey want to improve upon?
So I definitely got to improve my footwork. That's the first step of the play. That's the start of the play. So that's a big thing with Coach Jasper. And next thing, definitely be my decision making.
Yeah, he just said that. Yeah.
Definitely just like while we're in the triple, read number one, pitching off number two, and then even in the pass game, everything has to tighten up. So that's my main focus this spring.
How you feeling? I know you had shoulder surgery. You feeling pretty good?
I'm doing well. It feels pretty good. There's like a 6-month kind of recovery plan that goes on. So gym keeps me limited in what I can do, but it feels pretty good. I can do push-ups now and start running a little bit.
So can you throw? You're not able to throw the ball right now?
I can throw. Throw, yeah.
So is that kind of what you'll do, a lot of pass? It sounded like one of the focuses for you and Malcolm to do a lot of Skelly and passing drills.
Yeah. So I won't be able to do a lot of team this spring, but whenever we start doing the passing, like one-on-ones and stuff, I'll be out there for that.
All right, great. Thanks, Abey.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Thank you. Well, Malcolm, Coach Niumatalolo said that this is a big spring for you, and he really wants you to work on your passing. Kind of talk a little bit about that and what your focus is.
This spring, that's definitely the object of my game. I'm trying to get better, complete my game more so. I'm known to run the ball, be athletic, but being able to pass the ball would help the team a lot. Be more rounded and use all our weapons. So.
Any particular area of the passing? I mean, do you feel? I mean, Coach said he thinks your mechanics are pretty solid, but you always need to improve in that footwork. Stepping into throws. Anything in particular that you think you could get better on as far as the whole technique of it?
I think personally, it's getting the footwork down with the play. That's probably my biggest thing I need to work on this off spring. Is just matching up the footwork, getting the footwork down, and then I feel like the throwing part's easy, but just get my footwork right.
And Coach also mentioned, part of it, throwing the ball effectively, is confidence and believing what you're seeing, letting it go on time, on target. He said after you threw the interception against SMU, he thinks maybe you got a little attentive, you're quick to pull it down and run. Can you kind of address that?
Right, I think confidence definitely helps a lot. I think that did kind of bother me for the rest of the season. It made me a little timid, but I think I'm over that. I'm getting my confidence up. That's what we're doing out here in spring ball. So I think once I get my confidence up, I get a couple balls in my systems and I'll be good.
And how are you feeling? I know you had the foot injury in a bowl game, but you seem to be running well here. You look like you're running pretty good in the straight line running, at least.
Right, it feels pretty good. It's a little sore right now after practice, but it's nothing too serious. Just need to get in the training room and get right.
So you're still in a little rehab protocol?
A little bit, but I'm towards the end of it. So
Okay.
pretty shortly here I'll be full go.
All right, thanks, Malcolm.